What's up, UB Football Podcast? We're on video this time. It's going to sound normal if you're just listening on the regular feed. If you're not listening on the regular feed, you might have found us on YouTube. So go look for that because as we discussed yesterday, we are now doing the podcast from outdoors on our patio. Scott and I, our personal patio. We're roommates on the road here at Atlantis in the Bahamas. Bahamas Bowl coming up on Saturday, and we've got you covered all throughout. Coverage of the Bahamas Bowl presented by Bezroy Roofing and Siding, the official home remodeling partner of UB Athletics. Family owned and operated by UB alumni and former student athletes, offering roofing, siding, windows, deck, and doors. Visit them at BezroyRoofing.com, BESROI Roofing.com. It's also brought to you by Crossbar Athletics. Coaches, simplify your season with Crossbar. Uniforms and team stores made easy. Visit CrossbarAthletics.com today. Hi, Scott. Hi, Paul.
Hi,
welcome.
Brad.
Welcome to the Bahamas.
It would be a shame to have wasted.
Use your mic.
It would be a shame to waste the palm trees and not have a video element here.
That's right. Yeah, we got to do it.
It's real nice here.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's the point of buying the shirts?
That's right.
If we're just going to do audio.
That's right.
I'm disappointed that I didn't get the UB gear issued Hawaiian Bahamas shirt.
These were not issued, Paul. This was planning. We knew in advance. I don't know if you just got whisked, thrown in a van, and then dragged to the airport, and then dragged to the Bahamas. But we kind of had a plan going in. We found out a couple weeks ago.
This isn't Bahamas, North Dakota. This is just the Bahamas.
The real one.
I failed miserably.
You're doing fine. It helps. We got the helmet and you to kind of ground us.
Okay.
The video element here is showing that not only is it a tropical location, but it's also a serious football game.
Yes.
So your shirt says I'm serious.
Yeah.
The helmet says I'm serious. Scott's shirt and my shirt say whatever, man.
Tropical serious.
Tropically
Should
serious.
I say mon?
Yes, right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's up? How are things? How's the trip for both of you?
This is awesome. We've been lucky enough for the Bulls to have been here for the second time. I've actually been here a couple other times on family trips. It's one of the most amazing places that you can go to. I mean, Atlantis is fantastic. To be able to spend a couple days here for a football game is amazing.
Yeah, you get off the plane yesterday and it's perfect.
Yeah.
The weather is perfect. It's unbelievable. The high is 78, and then the low
77 and a half.
Yeah, it's unbelievable here, and then the resort is second to none. I mean, our setup here is awesome, and then just walking around, there's like a world-class aquarium down there that's awesome to just kind of get lost in and spend some time in.
One of the best water parks anywhere in the world is also here.
The thing with the aquarium, I've been to aquariums. You pay admission, you walk in, you see various exhibits. This isn't that. This is just you're walking around. Oh, look, I'm in an aquarium. Like it's underground. It feels like you're in caverns.
The directions to our UB event last night were go down the stairs, walk through the amazing aquarium, and when you exit, turn right.
Yeah, when you run out of fish, make a left at the gift shop.
Those were the instructions.
Right. I mean, if you're here and you would like to eat Shake Shack, you have to go through a world-class aquarium for free to get there. This place is great.
And we'll probably do that today. I'm into the world-class aquarium / Shake Shack trip
combo.
Yeah, I can do that.
We've been here before. It's even better than it was last time that we were here. They just keep outdoing themselves, and it's awesome. We haven't even had time to get out to the water park, but that is coming after practice. It's been awesome, and
you can see the look on the face of the players. Obviously, most of these guys have never been here, and you could just kind of see them looking around and walking around, and this is an overwhelming place. If you've never been here before, you're like aquarium, and then 14 more steps at casino, and then restaurant, and Gucci, and Rolex, and miniature golf, and palm tree. It's a sensory overload, and I've gotten that sense from just the look of the face of the players.
Well, they've been dropped into a different world.
Yes.
Right. We haven't even brought up the ocean is there. There's a beach. The pools here are incredible.
Haven't even seen them yet.
And the water park is great. The ocean is right there too, and that's awesome.
And there's a boardwalk with 25 of the world's biggest super yachts moored that are right out the door here.
Yeah. There's a lot going on, and I think it's good that everybody gets a few days to absorb it before getting into football mode. They will practice fully today. We'll be out there in a couple hours, actually, checking that out, and we'll talk to them after that as well. But I think it does take a little time to settle in, because I'm thinking about how I perceive all of this compared to the last time I was here. And it's not like many of the players have been here before, but the fact that some of us on the trip, it's not
There's
brand
5
new
players on the Bulls that were here as freshmen in 2019.
5 players, but also people like us.
Yeah.
It's when we all show up, when 250 people get off a plane in a foreign country, get on buses, and then have to navigate this thing, it was pretty rough last time. This time, at least some of us have a little bit of familiarity so that when the group has a question, somebody might have an answer. And I know that's kind of a subtle thing, but it feels like something to me, and it feels like, Scott and I talked about this yesterday, the reason why when we go into a Big Ten town where we haven't been ever or for a while, the first trip is to the stadium. Walk around, get the majesty of it out of the way so that the next day you can focus on football. I'm not asking anybody to focus completely on football. We're at the Bahamas Bowl. Let's be realistic. But there is a football element to it, and those guys are on it.
Well, we've been around football coaches a lot in our life to know that there's nothing that bothers football coaches more than distractions, right? That is number one. And when you get your coaching license, you're like, prevent distractions. This is an entire distraction, right? And no one is as mellow and easygoing as Pete Lembo, but there has to be some inner thing pulling at him every time he walks and sees a bunch of his players hanging out at a casino or a bar or just doing something that they don't normally do when he knows they are here to play a football game. I am always intrigued by how coaches justify that in their own minds.
Well, it's something they don't normally do in front of him while wearing Hawaiian garb.
That's
I would say that. I don't know what they're up to when he's not around, but yeah, everybody's here. There's a lot of sinning to be done.
There's a lot to do, but I kind of have gotten the tone so far that the players, at least the first day here, have been able to. They had their team meetings. They know that they're here to win. They really want to win. They know that they're in the middle of one of the best seasons in school history, and they'd like to finish that off with a win. And they are also able to flip that switch pretty quickly and turn it off and then go into fun mode. So they've been able to walk that line.
Do you guys think, and I don't want, this may sound accusatory and it's not meant to be, bowls have changed their importance over the years, right? Maybe 10 years ago it was treated just like a mid-season conference game. I don't know in the big picture that bowls are felt that way by the inside or the outside.
Yeah.
So does that make it easier to come here and go, all right, we want to play well, we want to win, but it's a bowl game.
2 days ago, Paul, I saw a giant Cheez-It marry a couple in between the third and fourth quarter. So, I mean, I think things are starting to get into their proper situation where this is a reward for teams.
Right.
This is the Bulls exceeded preseason expectations. They went out and they were one of the best teams in the conference, and they got to come to the best destination that the conference can send a team to, and they have to, walk that line, but they are here to enjoy themselves. They are here to reap the rewards of an excellent season and all their hard work.
2 things that help me know that this is the best destination in the MAC. 1, palm trees. 2, Commissioner Steinbrecher was here at our welcome party last night.
He was at dinner last night.
I did not have a chance to speak with him.
You missed the palm tree in DeKalb that we drive by on the way to the stadium?
Right. Yeah, it's a Rainforest Inn or whatever. What is that called?
Cafe.
Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah.
I almost got it. I almost made the joke. No, I mean, we look at the schedule. We look at, you get to 6 wins. The first thing that comes to mind is, well, maybe that means we can go to the Bahamas. That's a part of it. And it's, in all honesty, it's not. Maybe this will allow the Bulls to win the Bahamas Bowl. It's not how we talk about it. We talk about coming here, but they get here, they know they've got a job to do. Pete's a serious football guy, and he's got a serious football team, and they'll be serious by the time Saturday rolls around.
Sure, absolutely, yeah, and they've got, I think, the Bowl does a good job with planning activities. I mean, today Sean Dolak is going to get to meet a dolphin today.
He's not going to meet a dolphin.
The captains get to go
They're
swim with
shaking
dolphins.
It sounds like Dan Marino's in town. That's not what we're talking about.
That's true. I guess
Which is
maybe I
good.
put it the
Which
wrong
will be
way,
good
but-
training for him when he'll have to more violently meet dolphins on Sundays
right.
next year.
What is the situation with the Dolphins and the
So
players?
the four captains get to go swimming with dolphins. Obviously, Sean Dolak is one of them.
Yeah, there's a dolphin cove right here within the resort.
What's the video guy doing here with us when he could
They're
be
not
there?
swimming yet. They
Oh, okay.
after practice
Practice first.
they're going to practice.
Okay, all right,
and then they're
that
going to
makes more
swim with
sense.
dolphins.
That makes more sense.
And they've got a beach bash coming up, which we've been to before
With a dance
last time.
contest.
They got a dance off on the beach. It's a whole really fun thing. For the players to get down there. For both teams, they kind of get to come together. And
Which our
hang out a
inside
little
knowledge, courtesy of John Fuller, is the Bulls' favorite to win the dance contest is one of our defensive tackles, which I love everything about.
bit.
Really?
Yeah, you got to have the big guys with the jiggle. It
Yeah.
gets you extra points in that dance.
Is there one in
contest, for sure.
particular that we have as a favorite? Or do we not want to say so as not to
Let's
jinx
hold on.
it?
Let's hold that. That could be for tomorrow's episode.
Well, is this available in the sports book?
I don't. I will see if
Almost
we can
everything
pick up
else is.
action on it. Just about everything else is
Right. This is the legacy of Max Michel winning the dance, occasional pregame contributor Max Michel winning the dance contest against Charlotte
right.
in 2019.
With a standing backflip, if I remember
and the result
correctly.
was a pinball machine that was won and that may still be in the locker room somewhere
Wow.
at UB Stadium.
So Max did a backflip on the
Yes,
beach,
I
won a
believe-
pinball
yes, he
machine,
did.
Yeah.
and that's still in Amherst. That's the legacy
If one
of
of
the
our
Bulls.
defensive
legacy.
tackles does
The
a
legacy.
backflip today, that would be one of the coolest things that'll happen on this trip.
Wow, that's great. So what else do we know about today, about the plan for today? I know after this we're hitting practice.
Yep. Well,
Yeah, typical like Thursday practice, which is kind of a probably a little bit of walk through, little more than a walkthrough. Like the main practices have already happened, the main installations have happened. This will be special situations, right, Scott?
Yep.
And red zone kind of things that usually happen on a Thursday.
yeah, focusing in on some of the main stuff, getting what you want to do, especially those first 15 plays down pat, feeling comfortable going into the game, and focusing in and trying, as we've talked, trying to keep it as normal football wise as possible.
But back to the logistics of it. This is a massive complex with a lot of things. A football field is not one of them.
Which I'm surprised about, honestly.
well, they're going to do this
Not
bowl
yet.
game
I'm
every
sure
year.
it's coming.
Like put a practice field somewhere here. You can have flag football tournaments during the rest of the year, and then you have a place for the. I guess we have to go back over to the stadium, which is about a 20-minute ride. Not in the stadium for practice, but a side field apparently.
I don't know if they've got money here for turf. Yeah, they probably do.
Think maybe?
Yeah,
They might.
now that I
They
think
might.
about it. So the practice happens, and then
Dolphins.
Dolphins, right? Sharks. I almost said sharks.
Dolphins swimming.
swimming with sharks is not.
I would
that's
still
not
bet
something.
not
on
letting-
Dolak.
Yeah.
I would still bet on Dolak.
But I'm not letting it happen. No, they're dolphins. There's no
Okay.
there's sharks in the aquarium.
Yeah.
But they're not going to let them swim with them.
The wind is picking up. I thought that we might have some trouble because of the ocean breeze, the Pacific breeze here, and how
Atlantic.
that would play
This
with
is
the
the
podcast.
Atlantic. This is the Atlantic.
You're right. That's a good point. Caribbean breeze. I
There's
didn't
no
want to
t-
use
there's
that
no
word because I don't
Tahiti
like
bowl yet, but that may
Caribbean
be
versus
coming.
Caribbean. I've never liked that whole thing.
Caribbean.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that, so then I just tried to use another word, and I went with Pacific and named the exact wrong ocean. But that's not really the point. My point is that I thought it would be windy, but these walls, these little brick walls that we've got here, are perfect on our what do we call it? Veranda. We're calling this a veranda.
Beautiful little setup.
You know, there's between like a veranda and a
Do
patio
not.
and a.
And Lanai, that's another.
Ooh.
That's a Florida thing. Lanai, like
Would that have the
my
thing over
parents'
the top?
condo has a Lanai, which is about half the size of this and essentially the same thing.
But would that have the thing over the top?
Yes, I think so.
With the slats.
Several humble brags by Paul today.
What, humble brags?
My parents,
My
lanai.
parents have a
Lanai.
lanai.
But
All
he
right.
did say it's half the size of this.
It's a 40-year-old condo that was half destroyed in the last hurricane 2 years ago, so not really
Humble
much
brag.
of a brag.
Here it is again.
Another hot
again.
shot. So what else do we have now that we've got some video stuff going on? We're going to keep doing the audio podcast as much as possible. We're planning on doing a bunch of stuff with that. But video, we're going to do the Bully Awards.
Yep, that'll be tomorrow.
Very exciting. This is our annual bowl year tradition that this is like the third year. This
Just
is
say it's when we get a
version 3.
chance. When we
Yeah.
get a chance. When we've got some extra time because there are extra games. We've done it from Detroit before. I think we did it from a bowl game, but never live with video. So we're going to have that with Paul and Scott and myself.
The video guys are going to have the Dolphins, the captains. They'll have all that stuff
Dancing
coming up later
Dolphins.
today.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have to stop talking so they can go shoot video of Sean Dolak swimming with dolphins.
Probably.
And also practice. Phil Steele is in town.
Yes,
Yeah.
noted college football prognosticator apparently wants to be a part of the Bahamas Bowl.
Yeah, so he's here, and we're hoping to catch up with him. So we'll hopefully have some audio with him at some point as well. And is there anything else that we need to hit here before we wrap this one up?
Well, if you want to talk just briefly about the game, that's actually
Yeah, there is a game.
there is a game.
We could. I figure we're going to do a bunch of these, but yeah, sure.
And one thing that we're going to try and talk to the coaches, and I'm sure Paul will bring it up with Pete, and we'll hear some, is how do you prepare for a team in Liberty that has 17 guys either opting out or portaling, and that includes their starting running back and starting quarterback who are not going to be playing in this game. They're going to have backup quarterbacks who really haven't played much for them in the last 2 years. So how do you prepare for that? It's going to be a tough little twist for the Bulls to have to deal with.
It was a challenge even for you and I, Scott, in preparing to get ready for this game and how to talk about this game. You know, it's like you have all these stats, and Liberty was the number 3 ranked rushing team in the country behind, I think, only Air Force and Army, right? And you're like, oh man, you know. But then now the next step is, well, the quarterback who ran for 500 yards is gone, the running back who ran for 1,300 yards is gone, and 2 of the starting offensive linemen that blocked for a team that is 3rd in the country in rushing are not here. So, like, is that like what we're going to spend time talking about Saturday? How do you stop Liberty's running game, or is it not really that running game anymore?
Yeah, I mean, they're losing about 75% of their rushing yards, and 20 of their 28 rushing touchdowns will not be on the field. So I don't think that they're going to change too much of who they are. They're going to want to run the ball. We've seen this team, and specifically Jamie Chadwell, their head coach, between Liberty and Coastal Carolina, like 4 of the last 5 years.
It's the 4th straight year we've faced this team.
So 4 in a row. And they're not going to change who they are no matter what's going on. But it's going to matter of how does that look, and how do the Bulls try and approach it with some different players that it's, you know, just for me trying to prepare, I had to watch high school tape of these guys. They just haven't been on the field in years.
That's why we love him. That's why we love him.
It's going to be an interesting situation, but the Bulls, is a good, fun matchup. Two really good teams.
It's a quarterback that's thrown, I think, 25 passes in his career that's starting this game. So how does anybody know what he's going to be able to do?
Sounds like he'll be fresh.
Yeah, he will be fresh.
That's right.
Coverage of the Bahamas Bowl is presented by Bezroy Roofing and Siding, the official home remodeling partner of UB Athletics, family owned and operated by UB alumni and former student athletes, offering roofing, siding, windows, deck, and doors. Visit them at BezroyRoofing.com. Was it a bird or is it a
oh yeah, there was a minor flock of birds. Look at it. It's podcasting pigeon.
Might be jumping right in.
He might be.
John, if you could grab the door real quick so the pigeon doesn't come to our room.
There he is.
All right, got the
there
pigeon.
He is.
While we're looking at a pigeon, coverage of today's Bahamas Bowl is brought to you by Crossbar Athletics. Coaches, simplify your season with Crossbar. Uniforms and team stores made easy. Visit Crossbar Athletics. This happened yesterday. Visit crossbarathletics.com today. It always wants to come out Crossbar Athletics, but I don't know what that is. Crossbarathletics.com today. All right, that's it for the podcast. Keep an eye out and ear out right here on this feed, right radio feed, and then also on the UB football or UB athletics. I don't know, wherever you see it, keep looking and listening because we've got much more. We're still a couple days away from the Bahamas Bowl, and we've got you covered throughout thanks to our sponsors, Bezroy and Crossbar. We'll talk to you soon.